Hi friends, welcome to DSA Progress channel. Today we'll be solving pattern 12. So the problem statement states that given an integer n, you need to recreate the pattern given below for any value of n. Let's say for n is equal to 5, the pattern should look like below. As in the first line should have 1 at the start and 1 at the end and should have 8 spaces in between so that the total number here in the last line represents 10 numbers 1 to 5 and 5 to 1. So if we are filling 1 and 1 at each side, I think the remaining spaces would be 8. And in the second line, 1 and 2, and the reverse order of 2 and 1 should be printed. So this is a pattern we should print. For this, let's start solving the problem. First, we'll write the outer loop for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So this decides how many number of lines we will be writing 1 2 3 4 5. So equal to n 0 to 4 we'll be using 4 lines. So within the for loop we'll be using 3 for loops. One is to print the number at the start and to print the spaces in between and to fill the last numbers. So the first for loop would be to print the first line. So int j is equal to 1. I'll start with 1. J less than uh, or equal to I. J plus plus. We would start printing system dot out dot print. We'll be printing the number j. So next would be next for loop I would use to print the spaces, but I would start it with 1. So let's define the number of spaces, the highest, and then we'll start reducing it. So what we'll do is we'll have int spaces equals 2 times n minus 1. So that way the highest number of spaces would be n minus n is 5, n minus 1 is 4. So total spaces would be 8. And here I would say spaces, and that many number of spaces will be printed. Okay. So the next for loop is to print the reverse order. So in that for loop, I would actually start with I, and so greater than or equal to 1, and then j minus minus. So since we are printing it in the reverse order, then we'll be printing the j value of j. So this is done, and after completion of these 3 for loops, we have to print new line, because after every iteration we need to print a new line. That is one thing. And the spaces every time gets reduced by 2. If you see here we have 8 spaces, here we have 6 spaces because 2 numbers got added freshly. So I would say spaces will reduce the spaces value by 2. And let's run this. Wrong answer, because what I have got is for 4, somewhere I have not 0 to, instead of we need 4 also. So I added equal to also in the main for loop. Let's run. Wrong answer, because I have done some mistake in the spaces. Let's check it out. J plus plus print space, that many number of spaces, and 1 2 3 3 2 1 3 2 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 I should have left some extra spaces. Should have left some extra spaces because my number printing is right, but here at the start I should have left I should have left this would print the number that is printing correctly, and the spaces J plus plus 1, 2. So right now it is equal to this. I have 4 spaces only in the first run. So it should be more 4 spaces, but it should be 6. 4 minus 1, 3. Oh, okay. So when int is 4, when n is 4, when n is 4, I should leave more space, 2 more space. So let me remove this and run this. Expected output, wrong answer. Why? I see the correct answer is getting printed out, but there is an extra. The spaces is now spaced out correctly, but there is an system out.print, correct. Only after the first iteration should it reduce the spaces and print the new line. But somehow for me, it is printing a new line at the start, which is not expected. Print is having no new line here, but somehow 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to 1, 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2 to 1. Spaces is corrected out, and this for loop space that is correct, and equal to incorrect. So for the 5 lines, how did it print an extra new line without me mentioning it? So when I is equal to 0, what are we printing? We are printing 1 because we are starting the values by 1. So 1 and 1 would get printed. First time it would print just 1. 1 is less than or equal to 0. That's a wrong value. That's wrong. So that's why there is a huh. So I would start this also by 1 and let me submit it. Wrong answer because I will start it with 0, but I will 0 to 4 is what I have to run. Correct. Let me run this. Wrong answer because anyway 0 will not be less than or 1 is less than or equal to 0 is false. 1 is less than or equal to 0 is false. We have to correct this. 1 is, let me start it with 1, but let me put an equal. So 1 to 5, it should run. 1 is less than or equal to 1. Perfect. This time it should run. Huh. The spaces is removed, but now there is an extra space below that is here. Huh. So now I will do n minus 1. That way, this 2 extra spaces will be gone. Now if I run the code, this should match. Now it is accepted. Both the test cases have passed. Let me submit this code. All the 22 cases have passed. Thank you, friends.